Welcome to today's analysis of one of the most fascinating David versus Goliath stories in tech right now. We are going to break down how Perplexity AI, a startup founded in just 3 years ago, managed to crack Google's seemingly impenetrable 26-year monopoly on search. This isn't just an interesting case study. To me, I believe this is a masterclass in strategic thinking that turned an impossible challenge into an $18 billion success story. As we go through this analysis, we would focus on 3 key aspects. 1. Learning from their approach. 2. Analyzing their strategic decisions. And extracting building blocks that you and I can also apply to our own startup journey. Hi, I'm Dr. Ehonia Obed, and I have one goal: to build a successful startup one day. So I've decided to learn from every startup I can, the billion-dollar winners like Anthropic and Perplexity, the rising stars like Anysphere, and even the ones that failed. I analyze their strategic decisions, their competition tactics, and their pivots because I believe that every startup has something to teach us. This is Startup Experiment Diary, where I analyze and study all kinds of startups and share with us all so that we would be able to learn from them and build successful companies together. If you're building something too, hit subscribe and let me know in the comments what startup you want me to analyze next. Let's dive deep into to understand how a small team of AI experts managed to do what countless others have failed at: creating a viable alternative to Google search that users are actually switching to. When Perplexity's founders decided to take Google on in search, most people thought they were crazy, and for good reason, of course. Google has maintained an iron grip on search for 26 years with over 91% market share globally, and they process over 8.5 billion searches every single day. The company is worth $2 trillion, and you heard that, yes, right, $1 trillion with a T, making it one of the most valuable companies on the planet. The graveyard of failed Google competitors is extensive, from Microsoft's billions spent on Bing to startups like DuckDuckGo that carved out tiny niches but never threatened Google's dominance. Look at the valuation comparison here, and you will see the Perplexity is at $18 billion versus Google at $2 trillion. That's like a mouse challenging an elephant. You can see, if you're watching the video version, you can see on the screen the difference in the graph, right? But what Perplexity understood was that sometimes the biggest companies have the biggest blind spot, and Google has created a strategic vulnerability that was just waiting to be exploited. The team behind Perplexity is a group of AI and machine learning experts who saw an opportunity that others missed. Aravid, the CEO, has an impressive background with a PhD from Berkeley and experience at both OpenAI and Google Brain. He understood the potential of large language models to transform search. Then Dennis Jarrett, the CTO, brought deep expertise in machine learning systems from his time at Facebook AI Research. What's fascinating is that Perplexity didn't start as a search company. They pivoted from being a database startup when they identified Google's vulnerability. Their finding insight was simple but powerful: we are drowning in data but dying of thirst for a single concise answer. The timeline that you see here shows how quickly they moved from funding in August 2022 to launching their search engine in December, and then rapidly gaining traction with 2 million visitors by February 2023. This is a classic example of a team with deep domain expertise spotting an opportunity that others couldn't see. They understood both the technical possibilities of AI and the strategic weaknesses in Google's position. Google's vulnerability wasn't technical, it was strategic. They created their own Achilles heel through years of prioritizing ad revenue over user experience. Look at Google's original mission statement from 1998. It was to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. That's a far cry from what Google search has become today. The reality in 2025 is that Google search results are dominated by ads, with organic results pushed further and further down the page. The first chart, as you can see here, shows how Google's ad revenue has grown to dominate their business model. They now make over 80% of their revenue from ads, creating a dependency that they can't easily break away from. The second chart shows the increasing ad saturation on Google search results page over time. What started as a clean experience has become cluttered with sponsored content. Despite spending over $50 billion annually on research and development, Google's core search experience remained largely unchanged for over 20 years. They were innovating everywhere except their core product. At least that's what I think. This created what strategists call an unwindable bind. Google had three bad options. 1. Copy Perplexity and destroy their business model. 2. Ignore the threat and lose users. 3. Or create a compromise that satisfies no one. This is exactly the kind of strategic vulnerability that smart startups look for. When an incumbent's business model prevents them from responding effectively to innovation. Perplexity's genius was in redefining what search means in the AI era. They didn't just build a better search engine, they created an entirely new category, the answer engine. The comparison chart here shows the fundamental differences in approach. While Google search focuses on keyword-based queries that return lists of links, Perplexity delivers direct answers with sources in a conversational format. This addresses a core user frustration, having to click through multiple links and piece together information from different sources. Perplexity does that work for you, so you don't have to do it. The killer app formula combines four critical elements. 1. Direct answers, transparent sources, verification capability, and easy refinement. This creates both utility and trust. Perhaps most importantly, Perplexity's clean, ad-free experience, at least for now, stands in stark contrast to Google's increasingly ad-saturated results pages. By leveraging large language models to process and synthesize information from across the web in real time, Perplexity delivers a fundamentally different experience that feels like having a knowledgeable research assistant rather than a link directory that Google seems to be. This redefinition of search itself is what allowed them to compete on different terms rather than trying to beat Google at its own game. The growth trajectory of Perplexity is nothing short of remarkable. They've gone from zero to processing 780 million monthly queries in just 3 years. Look at the user growth charts. They started with just 4 million users in late 2023 and have exploded to 22 million by mid 2025. That's a 450% increase in just 18 months. What's even more impressive is the consistency of their growth. They've maintained over 20% month-over-month growth in queries, which compounds incredibly quickly. Their revenue has followed a similar hockey stick curve from almost nothing in 2023 to an $80 million run rate by the end of 2024, and they are on track to more than double that in 2025. The valuation chart, as you can see here on the right side of the screen, tells the story of investor confidence from a $120 million valuation in early 2023 to $18 billion today. That's a 150x increase in that's a 150x increase in just over 2 years. These aren't just vanity metrics, they represent real user adoption and business traction. As the CEO said, or as he noted, this isn't just incremental improvement, it's a fundamental shift in how people search for information. Perplexity's differentiation strategy wasn't just about technology, it was about fundamentally rethinking the search experience from the user's perspective. First, they created a clean experience without ads. This seems simple, but it's revolutionary in search, where Google has trained users to ignore the first few results because they are usually ads. And I personally do ignore that. Even if I'm looking for a brand and they are running an ad, I'd rather go to the organic results and click for it, because I'm looking for them anyway, and I know when I click on it, they are going to have to spend some money. Some of their ad spend goes in when I click on it. So I think about, hey, the founders who are posting the ads, and I want to save them some money because I was already looking for it. They don't need ads to convince me. And besides, that's how Google has trained me to, like, almost every time there's ad, and usually the ads are not the answers to what you're looking for. Sometimes they are just close to your search query, but not the best that you want. So I'd prefer to look for the organic ranked website for whatever keyword that I'm searching for. Second, they built source transparency into their DNA. Every answer includes citations, allowing users to verify information and dive deeper if they need it. Third, they prioritize real-time access to information. This is crucial for breaking news, sports scores, or any time-sensitive information. Fourth, they embrace natural language, allowing users to ask questions the way they would to a human expert rather than crafting keyword queries. So you don't need to be an expert at keyword queries to use their product. Finally, they focused on research use cases, optimizing for knowledge workers who need comprehensive, accurate information rather than trying to be everything to everyone. The user experience chart that you can see here shows how dramatically different the experience is. Perplexity users get direct answers with sources in seconds, while Google users often have to visit multiple pages and piece together information themselves. This feature comparison table down here highlights the key differences in approach. What's fascinating is that Google can't simply copy these features without undermining their core business model, which relies on users clicking through websites where they can show ads. The most compelling evidence of Perplexity's success isn't what they say, it's what the numbers show. Look at the user growth chart from 4 million users in late 2023 to 22 million by May 2025. That's a 450% increase in just 18 months. Their query volume is equally impressive. They are now processing over about 780 million queries monthly, with consistent 20% month over month increase or growth. What's particularly telling is how the market is responding. Google rushed out their AI overviews feature specifically to counter Perplexity's growth. That's a clear sign the incumbent is feeling threatened. Major investors are validating this success too. Jeff Bezos, Nvidia, Databricks have all backed Perplexity, helping drive its valuation of $18 billion. The geographic expansion is another strong signal. 640% year over year growth in India shows that this isn't just a Silicon Valley phenomenon but has global appeal. Perhaps most importantly, Perplexity has built a sustainable ecosystem with over 300 publisher partnerships, creating a virtuous cycle where quality content providers benefit from being cited. These aren't vanity metrics, they are concrete evidence that Perplexity has found product market fit and is successfully stealing users from Google's impenetrable search monopoly. Let's extract the key strategy, the lessons from Perplexity success that any startup can apply regardless of their industry. So this is the part that is important for you and I who are currently thinking about building our own startups or are in the process of building our own startup. First, find the gap. So Perplexity identified that Google's ad first approach had created a user experience gap. Look for where incumbents are prioritizing revenue over users. That's your opportunity. Second, reframe the problem. Perplexity didn't position itself as a better search engine, but as an entirely new category, an answer engine. This allowed them to compete on different terms. Third, solve real problems. Users were frustrated with having to visit multiple sites and piece together information. Perplexity addressed the pain points directly with synthesized answers and transparent sources. Fourth, create unwinnable binds for competitors. Google couldn't copy Perplexity's approach without undermining its core ad business. Look for ways to force incumbents into impossible choices, just as Perplexity did. Fifth, execute relentlessly. Perplexity maintained 20% plus monthly growth through perfect execution, strategic hiring, and infrastructure investments. The As the CEO noted, the biggest companies have the biggest blind spots. Your job as a startup is to find blind spots and build something the incumbents can't copy without hurting themselves. This follows the classic strategy choice cascade framework from winning aspiration to management systems, showing how a well executed strategy can disrupt even the most entrenched incumbents. So, what does the future hold for this David versus Goliath battle? The market share projection chart that is shown here shows a fascinating trend. While Google will likely maintain dominance in overall search, Perplexity is carving out a significant and growing slice of the market. Google's response has been to launch AI overviews, but they face a classic innovator's dilemma. Every direct answer they provide cannibalizes ad revenue from their traditional search result. It's a half measure that satisfies neither the advertisers nor the users. And that is how Google is hurting itself now. Meanwhile, Perplexity isn't standing still. They are expanding beyond search into browser integration, shopping experiences, and enterprise solutions. Their pro subscription at 20% per month is gaining traction, and they are building a sustainable business model through premium features and API access. The AI search adoption curve shows we are still in the early stages of this transition. While early adopters and knowledge workers have embraced tools like Perplexity, mainstream adoption is just beginning. The broader implications are fascinating. Are we witnessing the end of traditional search as we've known for the past 25 years? Will direct answers replace the link-based paradigm entirely? Publishers are adapting to this new reality too, with new revenue models emerging as traffic patterns shift from browsing to direct answers. Perhaps most importantly, Perplexity's strategy provides a blueprint for AI startups to challenge incumbents in other industries. The lesson is clear. Find where an incumbent's business model prevents them from delivering the best user experience, then use AI to create an unwindable bind for them. And finally, this isn't just a two-player game anymore. Microsoft, OpenAI, Anthropic, and others are entering the AI search space, creating a multiplayer battle that will shape how we access information for decades to come. Perplexity's story is ultimately about strategic thinking, not just technology. They found Google's blind spot and exploited it brilliantly. The lessons apply to any startup to disrupt an incumbent. We are witnessing a fundamental shift in how information is accessed and consumed. I believe the battle is far from over, but Perplexity has proven that even the most dominant companies can be challenged with the right strategy and execution. This is our deep dive for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If there is one lesson that you have learned from this, let me know in the comment. What is that one lesson that you are picking from this that you would want to apply in your own startup journey? And also, if you enjoy videos like this where we do deep analysis of various strategies that companies or startups are taking to extract the insight that we can apply to our own startups, then do subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up as well, and feel free to share it with your colleagues who are also building startups. Also, if there is any particular startup you are interested in that you want me to do a deep dive on, go ahead and comment it in the comment section, and I would work on that for subsequent videos. Thank you for watching the Startup Experiments Diary today, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye for now.